Thank you. Thanks, Bob. The good thing with telling stories is you can tell stories slant and you can tell them from different points in time. So this is a similar story told more recently. Today should be your one-way donkey trip into hell. But the sun keeps time. Walking into the theater isn't so bad. No one makes the obvious Van Gogh joke. The producer's in the hall and she shouts, "Hey, this Japan tour, you see the new contract? We're leaving a week early. Speed up the learning curve, okay?" That's 10 days from now. Hasn't she noticed your ear? A learning curve is not a parabola. We're talking swords here. You're not a goddamn kung fu genius. You're just a dancer. You regret ever saying you would learn stage combat. You wonder if a broken leg would get you more sympathy than a busted ear. You don't blame Arlo for whacking you in the head with his dagger. Not his fault. The hilt has a screw perfectly designed to tear the shit out of a person's ear. Explaining this to the doctor was fine once he realized it was music theater and not a gangland incident. It's not exactly Shakespeare, you tell him. Can you stop the bleeding now? In 10 days, you'll be in Tokyo to open the Pirates of the Caribbean. All singing, all dancing, all sword fighting, all jet-lagged. In thigh-high pirate boots. You hesitate outside the rehearsal room door. You could just walk away. Your contract's not signed. The costumes aren't even finished. In this economy, the manager could hire someone new, lickety-splits, but you open the door and walk through the wings determined. The fight instructor brushes a hand gently against your good ear. Heard about the new schedule, he says. He hands you a broadsword as you shrug. What can you do? You're just pirate number 3. You have only the one solo, and you probably won't have time to learn it. The choreographer keeps having nervous breakdowns. He won't make it to final rehearsals in Tokyo. It's just make-believe, you remind yourself, adjusting your grip on the broadsword, getting ready to fall on your knees again. So many positions involve being on your knees. That's sacrament, says my neighbor. I saw no need to explain that to my fellow pirates, I say. Nicely rehearsed, he says. Welcome home. With a cut right through the top of my ear and a handful of dance steps. But your ear looks fine, says my neighbor. Isn't everyone a shaman, that power to transform, even the smallest or briefest part? Aren't we all crucial, pouring magic over the blade until the horse appears and takes us through the sky, delivers us to the dreaming, brings us to the story? So you brought the story on tour, says my neighbor. From the hard boards of that rehearsal floor, on your knees, for the falls and tumbles, for a few high notes. Isn't that enough? I'm not sure, I tell him. My neighbor says, when they open my heart, they'll find this June morning, red as any carnival, streetcars gliding down Canal Street, white, yellow, honeysuckle petals from a disreputable hedge, the scent halfway down the block and alongside the garbage, the coffee. June in this city, and every solitary moment is itself pressed against, on top of every other. I'm going to miss the streetcars, he says, how they are always clearly en route. To wake in early summer at dawn and hear them sweep past on their steel wheels, on their tracks, almost as convincing as horses' hooves, that sound of all of us going forwards. I'll miss that. Are you going somewhere? I ask. Forwards, he says, just forwards. On Tuesday, you start drinking again because you're thirsty. The room is parched from 12 dust-tasting nights. You feel like the creator, him or herself, sitting cross-legged on the carpet while you open a bottle of Spanish wine. In this borrowed house, all you can find is a brandy snifter into which you pour the wine, willing the rain to begin. You resist your everything goes persona. Best of the showgirl options, refusing to pick up that billiard cue and break. Off stage for more than a week, you cringe, longing so hard for exhilaration, every muscle poised to arch your back against that outstretched hand. Surely it's all possible. Within this flaneuring around, walk out the door, now you're anyone. The doctor, the dancer, the slut, listing against the wind. While your lover slams into a hotel elevator yelling sayonara, which you thought was Spanish for see you later, but it turns out it's Japanese. It means the same thing. Your bags are packed into the trunk of your latest half-assed car, a series of solo gigs you've booked for yourself. Now it's just you and the crazy people at the truck stop. Every single one of you believes that the rain is your very own responsibility. You can toss your beret in the air just like Mary Tyler Moore. You're going to come through okay. Check into the next motel, no one to see or worry about, just a good old-style fish fry down the highway. Dancing through the slow spring festivals of the Southwest, putting on your feathery costume. The rain might get country music lyrical, wash the dust off your cowboy boots. In the morning, when you turn the ignition, you won't even need a road map. You'll unfurl like candy. A month later, you're much further south than expected, ordering café con leche from a woman in a wheelchair who's laughing behind the cash register. All you can see is her black pompadour, all Carmen Miranda. You're determined to pour yourself into each moment, to stare through the diner window at the highway, thinking you can stop here. It's all the same. It's all marvelous. Tossing your coat into the booth saying, yeah, I'll have one of those. Whatever he's having, I'll have that. You're flipping through the radio bands, searching for something that isn't a Christian music station. You have no faith in paradise, especially in its unchanging nature. Who would want to be sentenced without seasons? A person would lose all sense of direction. Your eyelashes turn white with salt, calm as a clam shell. You kneel, choose a pale, beach-washed whelk, a perfect solo performance. A nomad is not without a home, but rather one for whom all lands are familiar. But you're traveling with too many costume changes. The next gig's 17 hours away. Maybe the show will sell out. Maybe you'll make some money this time. Maybe the rain will start. Are you thin with triumph over all you've given up? All high kicks? Is this saintly? Your feet keeping time? You wish you still smoked. You could exhale. Say, okay, this horse, this one feels right. Feels red hot, baby. Let's go.